Hi guys, it is Kim. I am here in the kitchen. I am squatting down so that I'm in frame, but I'm gonna do a video today because last week I did a little quick snippet about how to get really thick and creamy cauliflower mash, and I thought you might wanna see the whole process. If you don't cook or you don't like cooking, don't watch this video. It's gonna be boring. If you don't like people talking at you about how to cook, don't watch this video because that's what I'm gonna be doing. All right, so it's hot and steamy in this kitchen, so let's get moving. I am going to try and adjust this camera so you can actually see what's happening as it's happening.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is get out a big pot, put about 10 cups of water in it and a tablespoon of salt, and turn it on to boil. Then we're going to grab our cauliflower. So we have a large head of cauliflower, and the first thing we want to do is remove the green stem portion. So just peel a little back so you can expose that inner part, and you're going to cut it off, making sure your fingers are not in the direct line of the blade at all times. And then we're going to remove that inner core area because the texture and taste is different. This is why I don't use rice cauliflower for making cauliflower mash, because it has those little bits in it mixed up. So we're going to first just remove that inner stem portion by cutting. Oh, by the way, if there are any like brown bits or discolorations, just scrape them off with the knife or your finger. And then we're going to cut it into quarters to expose that stem portion better and just remove the stems for the most part. Obviously, you're not removing every bit of stem, but you're removing the sort of big hunks of stem. And then you're going to cut the florets into sort of uniform sized pieces and remove any little bits of stem that are easy to remove at that point. And we're going to continue this until we have all of the heads of the cauliflower. And then what we're going to do is, by now, hopefully our pot of water should be boiling. And if not, we're going to take a pause. But when it's boiling, we make sure that you didn't forget the salt, by the way. Add the cauliflower, boil about 6 minutes. It'll be very soft at that point. Drain it well, shaking out as much of the water as you can, and then putting it in a food processor and turning on the food processor. You're going to process it. You want it to be really smooth and silky, so process it for a bit, and you're going to check it, and then if it's not yet ready, you're going to continue to process it. I usually recommend scraping down the sides because that part is not getting processed when it's stuck to the top of your food processor. So putting the top back on and processing again midway. And just letting that come to a really silky, smooth consistency. Takes a few minutes, but not too terribly long. By the way, some of this video is sped up and some of it's not. This part has not been sped up. This is regular speed. Now, try not to be quite as much of a spaz as I am and constantly drop things on yourself, but it can't be avoided sometimes, as you'll see right there. Yep, that's every time. I'm always doing things like that. So feel better if you do those things too. You're in good company. So at this point, I am checking the cauliflower again. And again, all that's in there is cauliflower that's boiled. It's not, and salt, right? It's not, there's no butter, there's no cream. We're just looking for a really nice, smooth, silky consistency from the cauliflower. And then what we're going to do is this is sped up. We're going to move this into a pot, and we absolutely need 100% need a silicone spatula for this portion. One, you can't scrape all that out very well without one. And two, you need it for the stirring and the folding. So now we're going to turn the heat on medium. I recommend medium. It won't get away from you in terms of burning, and it's just generally good. So all we're going to do is we're going to scrape underneath and then sort of smooth the top out. Scrape underneath and smooth the top out. And you can see that it's still pretty thin. It's more of a puree. It hasn't thickened up at all yet. But we're just going to keep turning and scraping and making sure no part of the cauliflower is stuck to the pan for very long. By the way, if I accidentally say potato, I mean cauliflower. There's no potato in this. And we're just scraping and turning. And I like to kind of spread it out a little bit at the beginning. Just increases that surface area on top, because what we're trying to do is get as much of the water out in the form of steam, right? So you should start to see steam coming up from that mash if it's not coming up constantly. And just stay at it. This process you're going to do for like 12 to 15 minutes. So it's not a slow process. I've cut out bits of it in this video or else it would be really, really, really boring. But you want to see steam coming out. You're just doing this over and over again. Put on a good podcast. And you should kind of be hearing a little bit of, not, it's hard to describe the sound, but an occasional kind of, not a scorching sound, but a little bit of that steam coming up. Nothing should be boiling, obviously. It's just steaming. If it seems to be steaming too fast or it's risking burning, turning it down. If it doesn't seem to be steaming enough, you can turn it up. If you want to do it really fast, put it on medium high. You can see what I just did there, but that's a little more dangerous. So I really do recommend on more of a medium. And you can see here, it's been about 15 minutes due to the magic of video. And see how thick it is compared to what it was earlier. Like it's not sort of laying flat in the pan. It's more of a sort of a bunch, right? It's gathered together. I mean, obviously I can still stir it. It's not cement-like in any way. It's very soft and delightful, but it has that sort of potato quality at this point. And I know we're not trying to completely imitate potatoes, but it's nice to have a thicker product. I just threw in 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to just mix that to incorporate. By the way, the heat is now off, but the pan is still very hot. So I just added that butter in, and I'm just mixing it to incorporate. And once you feel like that's incorporated, throw in a bit of salt and then incorporate that. And then you're going to want to taste this, right? You're going to want to get a clean spoon, take a taste of it. Does it need more butter? Does it need more salt? Does it need anything, right? The world is your oyster. You can add things that make you happy at this point. But that's all I add. That's all I feel like it really needs. It tastes really rich and delicious. Okay, so now we're going to cut to the end of the cauliflower mash experience where I'll show you what we ended up with.
Hi guys, me again here in the kitchen. And I just wanted you to see, this is how much cauliflower we ended up with. So you can see it's just a skinch over the 1 cup mark. That's just what we got from a whole head of cauliflower. So just wanted to reiterate, if you're feeding a big crowd, make more than 1 head at a time, okay? That big pot I had could have fit 2 heads of cauliflower, no problem. So this is by far the most delicious cauliflower mash I've ever had. And really, it's just based on concentrating those flavors. Interestingly, it doesn't taste more of the cauliflower, it just tastes richer. I mean, obviously it should taste more like the cauliflower. It's thicker, it's more concentrated, but it really brings out the sweet notes, and it's just a really unique and delicious flavor. So I really recommend this method. And again, look, it's so nice. That consistency, it's so nice. And I'm gonna stop now. So thank you for joining me on this video odyssey through Kim trying to cook without being a total spaz. So join me again. I'll try.